Hey guys, it's Van. I just wanted to say before the episode gets started that Kris and I are not medical professionals or parenting experts. We are just two moms with opinions and advice, and our podcast should not be used as a substitute for seeking help from your doctor or any other medical professional. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Spiked Coffee and Sarcasm with Kris and Van.
Hi, Kris.
Hi, Van.
How are you?
How are you?
Hey. Don't copy me.
If we lived closer, I'd say you owe me a beer or something, but...
Yeah, well, not my choice that we don't live close to each other.
That's saying. True. I would be happy with a coffee out of a coffee mug, but... I'm running low on coffee mugs.
I was wondering when you were going to bring that up. I'm going to send it, I promise. I just have so much on my plate right now. Don't hate me.
I can't wait to... I don't hate you, Van. I could never hate you.
So, before we get started, there's been something that I've been wanting to mention, and it's totally random, and it's going to have nothing to do with this episode, but it was something that I observed on the way home from work the other day that I see a lot, and I'm always just a little curious about it. But I don't even know if you have this going on in your town because, you live in Mayberry. But...
Right.
So, there's these people. Okay, so it's summer in Arizona right now. And today it was 115 degrees outside. Okay?
Okay.
And there's a storm coming in one part of the valley. So, it's kind of humid. So, there on several corners in the valley... There are people who get hired by companies to go out and stand on a corner and flip a sign around or hold a sign to advertise for this company. Okay? Now, I get the marketing...
Are you talking... Wait, just for clarification, are you talking about a specific company or you're just talking about in general?
In general, because there's a lot of them for a lot of different companies. So it's not a specific company.
Okay.
So... I understand the marketing tactic behind this. I understand having somebody stand on a corner for like a car wash, let's say, and somebody's holding a sign and the car wash is right behind them and, I get that. Furniture store going out of business, I get that. What I don't understand, and I was just sitting in my car at a stoplight thinking, why would anybody want to do this? Some people will either stand there with the sign and just hold it and they'll have their face covered or they'll be listening to headphones and they're just, just standing there holding the sign. Okay? I can read the sign. I know what the sign is for. Then you have other people, usually younger kids, teenagers.
Okay.
That are flipping that sign all around and upside down and twirling it and doing all of this. And I'm thinking... I can't read what's on your sign. You keep flipping it all around and I can't read what it is. So I have no idea why you are standing on that corner. Because I can't read your sign. You're flipping it around too much. I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
You flipping it around and everything. It looks cool. But I can't read what's on there. I don't know if it's a furniture store going out of business. Maybe I need some patio furniture, but I don't know if that's what you're trying to sell because I can't read the sign because you won't hold it still. I'm old. I'm already kind of blind. So if you're flipping it around, I can't see. I can barely see it as it is, and then you're flipping it around. I really can't see what it is. But anyway, totally random thought. And I was just sitting at a stoplight one day and I'm just looking at this guy and I'm thinking, I don't really get it. I don't know what you're trying to tell me where something is because you're flipping that sign around so fast I can't read what it is. So, anyway, totally not even on the topic that we're going to talk about, but I don't know.
On that note, we do have, in my small little town, they do hire people... For a couple of different companies, they do hire people to advertise for them on the sidewalk, but they generally, I guess they have them dress up in something, and then they hold the sign, and it's. But yeah, I don't know. We don't see a whole lot of that because most of the signs would have to be advertising either a church or a bar.
That's Mayberry for you.
Right? If I'm being completely honest, it's mostly for a church or a bar.
Wow.
That's what most of our... Yeah. Anyway. I don't know.
I'll have to I'll have to take video of one that I see, like one that's flipping it all the way around and all that, and I'll have to send it to you or post it on Instagram and say, this is what I'm talking about. Can you read what the sign is for? Because it's kind of crazy. But anyway, okay. So,
I'd be curious to know how much money they bring in. Well, first of all, how much money they make being the sign holder and twister or whatever, as well as the how much they make from those.
Yeah. Does it help?
Make a difference in their budget, or?
Yeah, does it help with your business to have somebody out there? Because on my way home from work, there's 2 businesses that always have somebody out there, and they're on this opposite corners, but there's always somebody out there holding the sign. And sometimes
2 different businesses?
Yeah, 2 different. One corner, it's like one corner it's a car wash, the other corner it's like it's a furniture store or something.
Okay.
But sometimes the guy with the furniture store, he's just standing there, like just holding it. He kind of looks like a statue because he's not really moving much. And then sometimes there's another guy that holds that sign and he's flipping it all around. So I don't know.
That's funny.
Anyway, okay, so what is our topic actually going to be? Not my random thoughts, but what is our topic actually going to be?
I think we should discuss family dynamics, like not necessarily our own family, but how we deal with drama in our family, in our extended family, or not even necessarily drama, but things that go on with family members that are having problems. I think that that's a good topic. So, when I was writing this down, I labeled it Family BS.
That's probably a good label because we all have, I think everybody has a little dysfunction in some part of their family, whether it be their immediate family or their... Are you okay?
Yeah, I was rubbing my eyes. Yes, I'm okay. It's late where I'm at. You know that.
Yes, I know.
It's after 11, so...
Okay.
I'm a little tired, but yes, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to distract you.
That's okay. I just looked over and she's like rubbing her head, basically. Anyway, okay, so everybody, I think, has a little bit of dysfunction in their family, whether it be like your immediate family, your extended family, blended families. There's always some kind of, everybody's got drama, and whether it be big drama, little drama, whatever. So,
itty bitty baby drama.
Itty bitty baby.
You know what I call that? I always say, this is so bad, but I always say we put the fun in dysfunction. Because I think your family holds the title for that this week, though.
Well, I don't know if I would call it fun, but it is definitely a little dysfunctional right now.
Oh my god, that made me totally laugh because that's funny. Yes.
So there is a little bit of drama going on in my family right now with my brother, and to give a little background on my family, I have one biological brother. We have the same parents, and then my parents split, and my mom married my stepdad, and then my dad married my stepmother and had 2 kids with her, so I have 2 half-sisters. This could get confusing, so pay attention.
Right?
So I have 2 half-sisters, and then my stepmother passed away several years ago, and my dad is now remarried to his 3rd wife, but they're not going to have any kids together because they're a little old, and they shouldn't be having kids at this point. And then when my mom married my stepdad, I have 2 stepsisters and a stepbrother, but this doesn't involve them, the drama. So my brother, who is my biological brother, he is 4 years younger than me. So at this current time, he is 40 years old, and he has struggled a lot in his life. And he's had a hard time making a good life for himself, and he's depended a lot on my mom. When my brother was 11, him and my stepmother did not get along. So my brother moved to Ohio to be with my mom, because my mom moved to Ohio after she divorced my dad, to go live with my stepfather. So
Okay.
my brother at 11 went and lived in Ohio with my mom. I stayed in Arizona to live with my dad because I was getting ready to start high school and I didn't want to leave. So in any case.
Understood.
Yeah. So my brother, like I said, he struggled. He's dabbled a little in drugs. He's got 3 kids. That's like a Jerry Springer episode. We won't get into all of that at the moment because it doesn't really pertain to the family drama that we're going through. Not a whole lot. So he moved to he moved to Arizona, back to Arizona, 3 or so years ago, I want to say. He decided that he could make a better life for himself in Arizona because the job market in Ohio, where he was living, was not good. So he moved here. He left his kids and his baby mama, and he came here. Well, that's what she is.
I know. It just that it always. I'm sorry. When I hear baby mama, it reminds me of the show.
Oh, yeah.
With Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Is that her name? Tina Fey? Mm-hmm. Yes. It always reminds me of that show, and that was... Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So, he came here, and he spent 18 months living with... Some of it with my dad and his wife, and he went to Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, MMI, to learn how to work on motorcycles, which I thought was great.
Smart. Good move. Good move.
He spent 18 months doing that. At some point during that 18 months, he got into a little tiff with my dad and my dad's wife, as many of us have. And he came and lived with me for a year. And he lived with me rent-free. He didn't help with any bills.
Did he offer at all?
No. He was not working. He had no income.
So he was going to school and he lived with you for a year?
Yes, for free.
Okay.
Okay. And so he stopped, he graduated from school, but he decided he didn't want to work on motorcycles. And so he went into business that my dad does. So my dad works on backflow preventers. I won't go into all that because it's extremely boring. But that's what my brother decided he wanted to do, which is great. I mean, he can make good money at it. So, any case, really long story short, my brother has always depended on his family, meaning my mom, my dad, me, to kind of help him through life. Pay bills, pay rent, anything. My family has helped him, my dad, and especially my dad and my mom. So recently, over the last, 6 or 8 months, my brother and I had a plan to where we were going to move into a 4-bedroom house, and we were going to split the cost of things. And it was going to help me and it was going to help him. Well, during all this process, there was something in me that said, this isn't a good idea. You shouldn't be doing this. It just didn't feel right. And one of the reasons why it didn't feel right was because he wasn't making very much money. He was actually making $1 more than I was an hour, but they weren't giving him a lot of hours. And then he's got 3 kids, and so a lot of child support gets taken out of his check, and so his checks are really small. Okay? So I just had this feeling, and he wasn't willing to get a second job to make sure that this rent payment, which was probably going to be $1,500 to $1,700 a month for the 2 of us to move into this house, he wasn't willing to get a second job to ensure that rent payment could be made, because I can't make a $1,700 rent payment on my own. Sure. So it just came to a point where I just said, I'm not going to do this, because I can't put my kids and myself in a position to where we would end up homeless and have to move. And I can make my rent where I'm at right now, and I can pay all my bills. So why am I going to, move from that if I don't have any reassurance? So recently, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, him and my dad have gotten into it. My dad has stated that he cannot come and live with him and his wife, as they have done before. My mom and my dad have been paying his, $1,000 a month rent for the last 3 or 4 months. And I was going to let him come and live with me for 30 days until he could find another place to live. That was until I sent him a small little contract of, here are the things that I think I need from you in order to live with me. And they were things that you would see on any normal rental agreement. Okay?
Right.
I wanted a certain amount of money for him to move in.
Like a deposit.
Yeah, like a deposit. There were going to be no drugs being used in my house. I have 2 young kids. That was not going to happen. Clean up after yourself. You're responsible for your own food and drink. Things like that. Nothing, I don't think, unreasonable. Well, I sent...
Totally normal for any kind of contract.
Right?
Okay,
so I sent it to him. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. It was Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Sent it to him this past Wednesday. And I sent it to him on a text message. I said, here's what I'm going to need from you. Let me know what you think. Well, a few days before this happened, he had deleted me, my dad, and my dad's wife off of Facebook. Because he was mad because I wasn't going to move into a house with him. And then he was mad at my dad for not letting him live with them, and for some other reasons that I don't need to get into. So he decides to take it upon himself to post the contract that I sent him on Facebook, and then make a little message about how his family is going to leave him homeless, and how we don't care about him, and that I guess I'll just sleep on an air mattress in the back of my work van, and my whole family is just a piece of beep, which I'm assuming the word shit was supposed to go there, but he put beep. So at this point, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm done. I'm over it. You just lost any chance to come live with me, and I was your only option. Your only option for a roof over your head, and you decided that you didn't want to do that because I supposedly was treating you like a 16-year-old kid. You are 40 flippin' years old. You should already have this crap figured out. You should not have to be depending on your family to pay your rent, to feed you, to take care of you. You should be able to take care of yourself. He's here by himself. He has no kids. He has no significant other. There is absolutely no reason why he couldn't be working a second, even a third job if he had to. But I
was going to ask you that, if his family was here, if he's got kids or whatever, a reason to, because I can understand not wanting to work a second job if you've got, somebody here depending on you. But if there's not anything and you need to pay, in his example, child support and rent and all of this, I don't blame you for him wanting him to get a second job, and I don't blame you for, I don't understand why he wouldn't want to do that. You would think he'd want to do that just for his own. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't understand. Well, and then, my dad asks him if he's going to get a second job to help pay the rent in the house that we were going to be living in, him and I. And he didn't give him an answer. And then he says, I'm not going to work fast food. Well, you know what? Taco Bell pays $11 an hour. Go work at Taco Bell.
What's wrong?
There's nothing wrong with working fast food. I did it for a long time.
That's the age-old question. Like, I really don't understand the whole, I'm not flipping burgers, or I'm not. Why not?
Yeah.
It's a job.
It is.
And it's not even an easy job. Yes, it's easier than a lot of the jobs out there, but it does take some brain work.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually have to think about what you're doing. It's not just bagging stuff up and giving it away. It's a job.
Yeah. And it's extra money. Like, and then I find out that he's smoking pot again, and so that costs money. So where are you getting money for that? I find it amazing that people who do drugs, now, like we've said in a past episode, marijuana is not, to me, like a bad drug. It's not heroin, it's not cocaine, it's not like that. But it costs money. It could be worse. Yeah. It costs money to get it. Like, you have to pay somebody to get it. And it amazes me that people who do use drugs, whether it's marijuana or something better, something different, can always find a way to pay for their drugs, but are unwilling to find a way to pay for a roof over their head or food on their table or clothes on their back. Maybe because I've never been in that situation, but I don't understand it. So anyway, I'm surprised I've stayed this calm during this conversation, because it's been a rough week, and I'm hurt, and I'm worried. I mean, he is my brother. He's my baby brother. Of course. And I don't want him to be homeless, but on the same token, people can only help somebody so much, to where they eventually are going to have to help themselves. And you can call it tough love if you want to, but we can no longer keep continuing to help him and expect him to make the changes that need to be made. So I'm not going to let him stay at my house. I'm not talking to him. I'm just stepping back and saying, you got to figure it out, because if we don't do this now, you're going to end up being 50, 60 years old, and you're still going to be depending on other people to take care of you. And that's just not okay. Like, you got to figure it out. So, anyway.
I totally agree with you.
I mean, at what point do you stop helping family? At what point do you just say, I can't do this anymore? And he's drained my mom of money. He's drained my dad of money. He's, he hasn't drained me of money, but, he did for a year. So, that's same thing. So anyway.
So here's the thing. In my opinion, I have been through similar, not similar situations as far as having people live with me, but even there's a fine line between tough love and enabling. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you, as a family member of somebody who's got a problem, any problem that's causing, whether it could be gambling, it could be, drugs, whatever. It could be any problem. If you are the one who's helping, and you're saying, okay, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this for you, but you have to do this in return. You can only do that for so long and be let down so many times before you finally say, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And I think that's where you're at. Like, you sure. And your family have helped him to the point, you've helped him to the point of doing everything you possibly can, but you're not seeing the changes. Yeah. So I think that now that it's being recognized as being, okay, I've done this for you, you said you do this, but now you're not doing this. So any more help that's provided to him monetarily, or any more money that you're giving him, or, shelter for free or whatever, now that would be enabling him. Yeah. And that's just my opinion. I'm not a professional, but I feel like I've seen this happen so many times, and on the one hand, you don't want to see him homeless, obviously. Yeah. He is your brother and you love him with everything. Mm-hmm. But when do you say, okay, I can't help you anymore because I'm not making you better. I'm
exactly
helping you be worse.
Yep.
And of course they don't see it like that. Nobody who's in that position, I mean, they're instantly going to go to, how could you let me be homeless?
Exactly.
But they don't look back at the whole. They're looking at the here and now, and they're not looking at the big picture. Like, for the last couple of years, since he's lived in Arizona from Ohio, you guys, everybody's helped him.
Yep.
And everybody was proud of him when he went to school and got his certificate and passed the course and, got licensed. Everybody was proud and supported him. But now he's at that point again where you're not helping him anymore. Now you're enabling him.
Yep.
And once it gets to that point, there's no, what do you do? This is where people get stuck.
Yep.
Because they don't want to see their family hurting, but they don't want to make it worse either. It's a hard position to be in, and I've seen it. Oh my gosh, I've seen it so many times.
Well, and it gets to the point where, okay, let's say I do let you come live here, and you don't help with any bills and with rent or anything like that because you can't, or you're unwilling, whichever one.
Right.
Then it starts to put me in more of a financial situation than I'm already in. Yep. And it takes a toll on my stress level because I am a single mom. I am taking care of 2 kids. I don't have a big house. It's a house big enough for the 3 of us, not for another person. We've already done that, and it was already a hard situation. And my kids and I, when school starts, we've got a routine, and we like to do things a certain way, and then you add somebody else into that mix, and it just throws everything off, and it makes my depression, my anxiety, my everything just 10 times worse. And that doesn't help anybody.
No,
so
it really doesn't.
I really had to just kind of say to myself, you can't do this. You can't do this to yourself. You can't do this to your kids. And my number one priority in my life are my children. My number one priority in my life is not my 40-year-old brother. I'm sorry, but it's just not. I can't. I don't want to see him homeless. I love him with all of my heart. I want him to be happy. I want him to be successful. But like you said, if my family keeps continuing to help him and saving him and keeping him off the streets and paying his bills, he's never going to learn to do it on his own. And that is going to do nothing but hurt him and keep him in the same position he's in. Now that maybe we've all said we're done, you got to figure it out, then maybe he'll be more successful and he'll be able to make it on his own because he's had to figure it out. That's what my hope is. And I hope that one day he'll forgive us all for this and he'll finally see that what we were doing was not to watch him suffer, but to just help him get better and be better. So, but, he is a man, and I know not all men are like this. Please don't hate me for saying it. All the women who love men out there. A lot of men have some narcissistic tendencies, and they think that they are always right and they can do no wrong. And my brother has a lot of that, and that's where he's at right now. He thinks he's done everything in the world that could make himself better, and everything's failed, and he's rejected, and he's blah, 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 blah. And I'm just tired of listening to it, so.
So he must be at that. He's always, from what I'm hearing, he's not accepting responsibility for his part in it.
Exactly.
And that does become a problem. I have noticed that you said you don't hate you for saying this, that you notice it with a lot of men, and I agree with you, a lot of men for sure. Men are used to being taken care of on the general spectrum, we'll say. Mm-hmm. Men are used to being taken care of. Wives take care of their husbands. That's the biggest example I can come up with right now. But I've also noticed that across the board, and a lot a lot with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've noticed it, like, with my older children. They expect you to just do it for them.
Yeah.
You know, like, here's a good example. My son is he works at Subway. And when he first started there, he got this packet of information that explained his benefits.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he got a letter saying, okay, you've been here a month. We haven't received the packet yet. Anybody who works knows that in most circumstances, when you get a packet of benefits, it doesn't matter if you're going to accept it or not. You still have to fill out the information and let them know either way.
Yeah.
Even if you're not planning on taking it. In his case, he's still living under our roof, so he doesn't need any of the extra added, like, he doesn't need the insurance, he doesn't need this, whatever. But you still need to sign the form that says, I'm waiving my right to whatever. Uh-huh. So he got the letter, and I gave it to him and told him, I said, you need to open this packet. You need to read it, and if there's anything to sign, even if you don't want the benefit, you need to sign it and say, I decline it. Or, I choose not, I waive my right to this benefit. So, a couple days ago, I got another letter.
Oh my gosh.
And the same thing. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to walk you through this. You need to open the packet and follow the instructions. This is not something I need to hold your hand on.
Right.
But it is exactly that situation. He just is like, why do I have to do that? You know what I mean? He wants me to do it for him, and I told him, I'm not doing this for you. This is something you got to do yourself, and you will get in trouble if you don't.
Yeah.
He called me the other day. He received a letter, or because he's been sick, so he got that work restriction to return to work.
Yeah.
So he texted me the other day while I was at work, and he's like, where's the letter at for work? I have to send it to my boss. And I said, I gave it to you when I got it. Where'd you put it? And he couldn't find it anywhere. Couldn't find it. Finally, he was like, oh, never mind. I found it. It's like, at some point, you have to take responsibility. Uh-huh. This is your stuff. It's not my job.
Yep.
I mean, my job is to feed and clothe you until you're old enough to feed and clothe yourself. After that, it's all you, man.
It's all you.
Yeah, right? And at this point, I mean, he's 40. Your brother is 40 years old. There is no excuse for him not taking responsibility for this.
Exactly.
He's known for a month that his rent was going to be up.
Yep.
There's no reason why he couldn't have been preparing for this.
Exactly.
No matter what.
And you know why he didn't prepare for it? Because he just figured and he just expected that one of us was going to help him and say, oh yeah, you can move in here, come live with me. And now, no, you know, when I got divorced and I had to move into the house that I'm currently living in, now granted, my ex-husband did help us get into the house, but it was his decision for us to move out of the house that we were living in, that we bought together. Right. He wanted us to move out sooner, so I said, okay, well, if we have to move out sooner, you're going to have to help us get into another house. It's your responsibility. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But since then, I have not once been late on a rent payment. I have not once been late on electric bill, a water bill, a phone bill. Maybe 2 or 3 days late, but not really late.
Right. Not past the grace period.
But my rent payment and my car payment, because honestly, those two bills, rent and car, are the most important because we need somewhere to live and I need a way to get to work. So those two bills are the ones that get paid first and always get paid on time. Now, I did that as a single mom raising 2 kids on my own. And for a year before I found my first job after I had been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, it took me a year and a half to find that job. And
I remember that.
And within that time, I was living off of $1,900 a month. $1,900. Wow. Yep. And we lived in a 3-bedroom house, and I had a car, and I did it. We survived until I could find a job. And right now we're struggling a little bit. Finances are a little tight. But you know what? My rent payment is being made, my car payment's being made, and we have food. And we have water, and you know what? We're doing okay. It's tough, and it's a struggle, but we're doing okay.
Sure.
The fact that my brother, who does not have any responsibilities here but himself, only him, cannot figure out how to make ends meet. It baffles me. And really...
So what is he living in up until this point? Now, his lease is up at the end of August.
No, it's up at the end of July.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. End of July.
3 days. In 3 days, he's going to be out of his apartment. Because his lease was up.
So he's living in an apartment now. Is it a 1-bedroom?
It's a 2-bedroom apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. But do you think do you think that maybe he could have gone to the rental office and say, "Hey, my lease is up on the 2-bedroom apartment. How much are your 1-bedroom apartments going for? And is there one available?" No, he didn't do that. Nor did he get on his phone. Now, listen. Nor did he get on his smartphone that he can get on the internet with, that my mother pays for, and look up low or income-based apartments in Arizona.
And they're everywhere.
1,000 of them pop up.
Yes.
Pick up the phone and call one, or go down there. They're open from 8 to 5. You can. His job is not an office job. Stop by there on your lunch break. You know, these are problems that there's a solution, but he's refusing to go find a solution for the problems that he's having. He could have found a second job 4 months ago and wouldn't be in this position. But he refused to do it because he doesn't want to work fast food. I don't care if you don't want to. You have to. I didn't.
See, that's the big.
I didn't want
the biggest problem.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It would be different if he was. Not him in particular, but if he was making the effort to look, I have called this place, this place, this place. I have done this, and this. Instead, he's sitting back saying, "Poor me."
Yep.
What am I going to do?
And you know, you
get off your ass and do something about it.
And my attitude would be a lot different, because if he had been working a second job and it still wasn't making enough to make this rent payment that he was going to have if we moved into a house together, but if as long as he was trying, then my attitude would have been different, and maybe, come live with me, and then you can help me with the rent I currently have, which is a lot less than what we were going to try and get. And we'll try and make it work, and maybe we can move in further down the road when you get a little bit more on your feet. But he did none of that. None of that. And I can't support that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to work my ass off to take care of me and my kids and then have to take care of you too. No. I did not give birth to you. You are not my child. And you burned the bridge with your own mother. So I don't know.
And you know what? And that takes a lot. I know Van's mom, and she puts up with a lot. She always has. And for her to be at her breaking point and say, "I can't do this anymore,"
it takes a lot.
That is a lot. It's gone beyond. It just isn't. He's not doing anything at all to help himself, and that's too bad.
And he and my brother, you know what pisses me off the most about this whole situation is for him to say that none of us are doing anything to help him. I'm sorry, but our mother has raised your oldest son for the last 4 years, and your baby mama has been taking the child support for that child that she's not even taking care of. So I really think my brother needs to take a step back and look at the people who are really hurting him. And it's not his family. It's other people. So, I guess the moral of this conversation and this family thing is you can love your family with all of your heart, and you can try and help them with everything that you have, but there comes a point where you have to say, I can't do it anymore. I can't help you anymore. And it's painful. I can tell you it's painful. I can tell you that my heart is breaking and that I feel horrible and I feel some guilt. But like I said before, my kids are my priority. Myself is my priority. And I cannot put my 40-year-old brother as a priority. I can't. Mm-mm. And I shouldn't have to.
I agree with that. I don't think you should have to either. I have a quick blurb about the whole child support thing.
Okay.
So, when I was raising Alyssa, I got child support. I can't really complain that I didn't get it. A lot of times it was late or he fell behind or whatever, but I did get paid child support. My problem with the whole child support thing was the conversations that her biological father would have with her regarding child support. He would make comments to her about, well, your mom doesn't use it to support you. She uses it for, she uses it for this or she uses it for that.
Uh-huh.
And that always frustrated me so much because just because, like, I know a lot of people who pay child support feel this way, who pay it. They feel like if the money isn't specifically being used, like given to the child to use for, if they want to buy clothes or if the kids want this or this, then I always got accused of using the child support on myself because I never gave the money directly to my daughter. Here's my thoughts on that. When you receive child support, whether you received it or not for this example, if you're paying to have a roof over your head and your child's head, if they've got food in their mouth, if they've got, the electricity or whatever, if they're taken care of, then it does not matter where that money that you say it's $150. If I didn't use that $150 specifically allocated on her, I got accused of just taking money and never taking care of her with it.
No.
And I thought, my thoughts on that are, as long as I'm making sure she has a roof over her head, you're contributing to that, and that's how child support works. So many people have this preconceived notion that child support should go to the child.
The key
it goes
word
to me for supporting.
Exactly. The key word is support.
Right?
You're giving that money to make sure that the child is supported, taken care of.
Exactly.
So if that...
I cannot tell you.
I know. And if that money... Now, granted, I know why people think that way because there are people in the world who do misuse child support and they use it for themselves. Sure. And that's wrong. But... Right,
agreed.
I never had that situation. Like, my kid's dad, he pays his child support, and it's, basically the child support I get for them pays for the roof over their head. So, I don't have that situation where I've ever been accused of using it for other than taking care of my kids. But I do know that Alyssa's dad did do that a lot to you, and I know that there are
all the time.
I know that there are other men out there who think that, they're getting shafted because they have to pay so much in child support. Well, if you would have wrapped it up, then maybe you wouldn't have this problem. But it takes two to tango, and you are part of making a baby. So it goes back to taking responsibility. You made that baby just as much as the mom did, so you need to take responsibility for it. And if you have to pay child support because it didn't work out between you and the mother, then that's what that child needs. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to take care of your child. Like, yes,
Right?
I know that it can make people struggle, and paying child support is tough. And, you know, in my brother's case, the whole reason why he pays so much in child support right now is because of something dumb that he did. He put himself in that position. But does he say that? No. He blames it on everybody else. It's somebody else's fault. And you know what? No, it was your fault, stupid. It was your fault for doing what you did. Take responsibility for it, and he can fix it. It would take a phone call. Pick up the phone and dial a phone number for it to get halfway fixed. But he flat out refuses to do it. So you can't help somebody who doesn't want to get helped. You can't fix stupid. So
that's probably the number one key issue, is you just cannot fix stupid.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Exactly.
So my sister has 2 boys, and she's raised them completely on her own as far as financially supporting them.
Yes.
She's never received child support from the father.
Really? Ever?
And ever. Never, never. And every time, okay, so now he is being forced to get a job where he has to pay, or he's getting forced to get a job where he actually has to work, and it's got to be on the books, and they are required to take the support out of his check. He cannot believe it. So he's mad at her for that, because how
dare you?
And I know, it's one of those things where he owes her so much money in child support that her boys are 17 and 15.
Yeah.
And he's never paid. So every time they find him and make him pay, it's like the worst thing in the world that could have ever happened to him. And it is beyond, the mentality there is beyond anything I've ever seen before. Like, he takes it out on the kids and anybody else who's around. I mean, he makes her life miserable.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, what part of this do you not get? You owe that to those kids.
Right?
And she would be totally fine if he just helped the kids out.
Right?
But as soon as they say anything like, well, I'm going to do this with Mom, that's what he holds over their head. Well, fine then, I'm not giving you any money. It just is, oh my gosh, it is terrible. There are some people out there that are that bad.
Well, and why is it with men, and I'm not saying it to bash men, but why is it that the mentality of them in this situation, of some of them, not all of them, some of them have this mentality of, I'm gonna punish the mom by not giving child support, when really the mom doesn't care about the money for her. She cares about the money to take care of the kids. But the man doesn't look at it that way. Looks at it as, no, I'm going to punish you by not giving you money because then you can't take care of the kids. Well, honey, who do you really think that hurts? Do you think it hurts the mom more or the kids more? I mean, really, let's think about this for a second. It hurts the kids because they're not able to have everything that they need to succeed in life. And that's ultimately what a parent's goal is for they want their kids to be successful. But there's so many men out there who are refusing to pay child support or take it away and give it and take it away and give it. And you're not helping like your kid.
It's like
it's a power struggle
or something kind of. Yes,
it's power. Too. It's power. It's power and control.
Yes, and let me tell you that you mentioned narcissism. He is the definition of that. You look it up in the dictionary and there will be his picture there. Oh, yeah. He is the definition of a narcissist. It is, and it's tragic.
It is. And I've dated many who have been narcissists. Let me tell you, anybody who's out there who is dating or married to a man who will tell you that he can do no wrong, that will not compromise in any way, shape, or form in your relationship, and continuously tells you that you're doing things wrong and it's your fault and you should be doing something different, but he doesn't have to change anything. You are married to or dating a narcissist, and no matter what you do, what you say, or how much you love them, they are not going to change. Narcissists do not change. Ever. So,
and it's so sad.
It is.
They could be a really great person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
and these
that's
poor people are... Go ahead.
That's my public service announcement for this episode, is if you're dating a man who does these things, you are dating or married to a narcissist and he is never going to change. Get out. Get out and get as far away as you possibly can. Trust me.
You know, and these women in general, women are usually defined as helpers or
caretakers,
wanting to fix, or yes, they're definitely fixers. And so when they come across somebody who has narcissistic tendencies or are narcissists themselves, you know, if they're dating somebody, their first thought is, "Oh, I can fix that."
Yep. Hey,
and before you
I'm
know
the queen.
it,
I used to be the queen.
Yeah. And before you know it, they've invested so much time. The years have gone by, and they figure out, you know, this ain't working. But they already feel bad about themselves. They've gone down the road where they just don't know what to do anymore. Nobody's gonna love them. Nobody's gonna care about them. They're ugly. You know, they have all these horrible, manipulative thoughts in their head, and it's such a sad thing to see.
So quickly, because we're getting down to time to say goodbye, but the last man...
Wow, that went...
I know, it went fast, huh?
That went fast.
Time goes by fast when you're having fun.
Right?
So, the last guy that I was involved with, and I don't even want to say dating, because I don't even think that's what it was that we were doing. He was a 150% narcissist. And I have my entire life been a fixer or a caretaker, wanting to take care of everybody. And I did this with this man for 3 years. 3 years of my life. Never committed to me. Never was just us exclusively. But he had no qualms about taking any of my money or any of my help. And just like you said, you hit the nail on the head, was I got so involved to the point where I was asking myself, what am I doing wrong? Why doesn't he love me?
Yep.
Why is my help not enough? Why is my money not enough? What can I do to make him love me? Honey, I finally realized when you're involved with a narcissist and they don't love you, there is nothing you can say or do or no amount of money that's going to make them love you. Nothing.
Oh.
Because
that was heartbreaking.
The only person that they love is themselves. They don't love anybody else. They only love themselves. It took me 3 years to finally say, I'm done. And I walked away, and I have not spoken to him in 3 years. So...
I can't believe it's been that long.
Me neither. So, you know, and I haven't dated anybody else since then. I have had not one relationship, not one person in my life, whether it be friendly, you know, F-buddies, anything like that. I've had nobody in my life for 3 years, and I'm doing that deliberately because I need to teach myself to love me, to be happy with me, and that I don't end up in another situation where I'm trying to fix and take care of somebody who does not want it and that cannot be fixed or loved. So, it's been hard because I am one of those people who feel like I need to have somebody in my life in order to feel loved and accepted and wanted. And, you know, it's a lonely life. I'm not going to lie. There are times where I'm very lonely and I wish I had somebody to talk to or give me a hug at the end of a hard day. But I would much rather be alone and have my kids be the ones that give me the hug than have to deal with somebody who's just going to treat me like crap. I don't want that. So, single life is the life for me.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank
because
you.
That was a very rough time. And it was
horrible.
hard being on the sidelines and watching it because you never really understand it when you're in it.
Yeah.
You don't see it the way that people on the outside see it. It's like there's certain people in your lives that are so sure that what they're doing, nobody knows about it. It's not, they are so positive that they've kept this, whatever the situation is that nobody's supposed to know. They're so positive that they are keeping it a secret or that nobody knows. But
Everybody
on the outside,
knows.
it's so obvious.
Yeah.
It is so obvious. And that's kind of the situation with you and him. That was kind of the thing. Like, from the outside, just based on stuff that I'd heard from you, I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know. Nobody knows it until they're in it. And even if you have your own thoughts about what's going on in a person's life, there's always a bigger story.
Well, and
there's always something else going on.
And not only that, but I mean, when I was going through that, and I tell you everything. There wasn't anything that I kept secret from you. And you did tell me, are you sure that this is, that he loves you? Like, I mean, you tried to get me to see so many times. You really? I don't think that, and you did it in the nicest and most honestly, way that you could. But I was at that point that you talked about to where I kept thinking it's going to happen. He's going to fall in love with me.
Yeah.
He's going to want to be with me. It's going to happen. And I kept telling myself that for 3 years. And it never happened. And you know what? When I stopped talking to him, he walked away like I didn't mean a thing. Like, he tossed me to the side in the gutter like a piece of trash and never talked to me again. And that is a hard pill to swallow when you finally have to admit to yourself that he used you. For 3 years, he used you. He used you for your money. He used you for, free meals. I mean, everything. And, man, I kick myself sometimes and think, what the hell were you thinking? What? You are so much smarter than that. But you know what? It's that wanting to feel loved and accepted that is so strong sometimes that you'll do just about anything. And that's one of the main reasons why I've decided I'm not bringing anybody into my life until I know I'm strong enough to be able to say, you know what? I don't need you. And if you were to leave, I would be okay. I can take care of myself. And I can take care of myself, and I know that. Yep. But I need to be strong enough to be able to emotionally say, I don't need you. I don't. Yep. If you leave, I'll be fine. And I don't need to fix you. You know what I mean? So.
I do know what you mean. And just from, again, an outsider's perspective, you may not see it, but a lot of things have changed in that 3 years. I have seen so much more courage and so much more strength and so much more...
Heartless bitch.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I just mean that you definitely have more of a... You know what you want, and you won't settle for less than that. Yeah. And that's important, Van. You should have always felt that way. But, everything happens in life. People get broken, and it doesn't matter what the situation is. It only takes one time for somebody to feel broken inside. And that's, I think that you were like that for a long time after your marriage. Mm-hmm. And so, it is nice to see you on the incline versus, going downhill. That's a great thing.
I'm just waiting for my sugar daddy. That's all I'm waiting for.
That's right. That's right.
Boy, how did we get on this topic? Right. We went from family drama to narcissism and personal drama. But that's okay.
Right?
That's okay. So.
That's okay. It's all inclusive. It's good. It just goes along with the whole Okay, well, it really doesn't go along with family drama, but this was fun anyway.
Well, it's still drama nonetheless. It's just a different type of drama. But, you know,
That's right.
It kind of goes into the just, you know, helping yourself and picking yourself up and figuring things out and doing it on your own with nobody else's help, and that sense of accomplishment. I guess maybe that's what I want for my brother is I want you to figure this out, and I want you to be better, and I want you to succeed so you can feel good about yourself and that you're not depending on your family. You did it on your own, and you can say, look what I did. Look what I did. I did this. Yes.
That sense of accomplishment.
Yes. You know?
And you know, he should have had that. He did have that feeling. I know he had that feeling when he graduated from the tech school.
Yeah.
I know he did. That should be what he holds on to. And I know that's what you want for him. That's what any of us wants for him. And he can't see it right now, but hopefully this will be a lesson learned for him.
Absolutely.
And he will be able to pick himself up and move forward.
Yeah, I hope so.
You know.
I hope so.
I do too, because
that's what
we do love Corey.
We do. You know, I know my parents, my dad and his wife are praying for him, and you know, I'll pray for him in my own way, and I know my mom will, and we are all just hoping that
will I.
We will, you know, we just hoping that he will find his way and he will be bigger, you know, not bigger, but he'll be better and stronger and successful, and that's all I really want. So, on that note, we just, you know, hopefully, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, you can reach us. You can contact us. Boy, that was just a brain fart all over the place.
I know what you mean.
I know.
I do.
You can email us comments, questions, ideas of stuff that you want us to talk about. That's at spikedcoffeeandsarcasm@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Google Play, Podbean, iTunes, Spotify. Did I miss any?
I think you got them all.
Ah, yay. But, yeah, we're hoping that everybody's enjoying the new...
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Oh, how could I forget Twitter? Twitter's where we get all of our love. I can't forget Twitter.
Right?
That's where we get all of our support from our podcast community, which has been wonderful. So,
yes,
you know, send us an email.
We love Twitter. We love you, Twitter.
Send us an email and, you know, give us some ideas on what you want to talk about. I think the next episode we're going to talk about mental illness because we both have experience with that and with dealing with it. And so, yeah.
All right.
That's that. What are you writing like a book? You've been writing like the whole episode. What are you doing?
I'm writing notes, like notes for like stuff the next time that we talk, and I need to write stuff down because I like how pretty my handwriting is.
Okay.
I do. I bought these really pretty pens.
Oh, is that what
they have they're so pretty. I like to write notes with them and then color coordinate them, like
oh my gosh,
the first line and then the second and then yeah. I just do.
I'm sorry. What year did we graduate high school?
That's none of your damn business. I'm not talking about that. So there.
All right. We're going to say sayonara.
Sayonara.
Do you even know
we
what that
will
means?
talk at you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.